Hello grade 10s. Part of the mechanical analytical questions relate to the understanding of some of the mechanical components that you have. This is in page 36 of your textbook. So there's information showing the steps here, how to make a nut, how to do a bolt. Remember, the bolt is the one with the shaft. How to draw a washer or a spring washer. Here it shows what it would look like when they are put together with what gets hatched. The material gets hatched, but not anything on the actual nut or bolt. And the shaft of the of the bolt doesn't get hatched either. It's drawn in what they refer to as convention. So the convention, you don't go and draw thread along the shaft of the bolt. You draw a convention where you've got a 45-degree line at the chamfer at the bottom and the 60-degree line here where the chamfer is at the top. If you've got a drilled hole, this is how the bottom of a drilled hole is at 30 degrees. Then if you've got a blind tapped hole, blind, much the same as this, means that the hole doesn't go all the way through the material. Tapped, the difference between these two is that this one has got a thread on it, meaning you would be able to put some type of fastener, like a bolt, into that and it would stay attached. This is just a hole. Note that shape there, you've got the broken hole or circle which indicates thread in this situation. There they tell you which part is the M value, and the M divided by 10 means the thread. They've said please note the different line weights. Here's an external thread, so what you would see on the outside when you have a bolt, for example. There they're showing you the M value. Note that the circle, when you're drawing an external thread, the outside circle is complete and dark, while the inside one is a little bit lighter, and then it's got the break in the shape. That's also indicating thread, but for an external thread outside, which you would see on a bolt. This is an internal thread where it's going inside the shape, and you can't necessarily see the inside because it would be covered. Again, the M divided by 10 means that's the size of the thread. At the bottom you've got the 45-degree line on the chamfer, but where the thread ends you have a 60-degree line. Here's an example of a stud assembly. So when this stud gets put into the component, so it would fit into this tapped hole. Again, here's your cross flats measurement, and that's where they say cross flats, M for metric, the outside diameter, and some notes to know. On page 37, we had some different tasks for you to do, where they wanted you to draw the shape of a nut. Task 7, the 3 views of the screw thread. Insert the cutting plane AA and label the views. Task 6 wants you to draw that stud. Task 8, they want you to draw these shapes here. Page 38 in your textbooks relates to page 47 in your workbooks, and that is the beginning of the mechanical analytical section. Hello grade 10s. Today I am looking at page 47 from your workbooks. This is a mechanical analytical question, meaning they give you a diagram and they ask you questions, and this is trying to see whether you understand what has been given to you. So before we look at the questions, let's interpret what we've been given here. If we look at this drawing, at the bottom here, there is a title block with information in it. Bracket assembly would be the heading. Scale is 1:1. It's drawn by Jasmine. It was checked by Pumla. The date Jasmine drew it was on the 25th of the 8th, 6th, 2013. Pumla checked it on the 3rd of the 7th, 2013. The drawing number, there's the file number that you'd find it in AutoCAD or something. Sam approved it. The material that was used was steel. It was approved by Sam at this date. And the number required, so this is how many of these components were needed. 1,250. The drawing was done on an AutoCAD, and this was the AutoCAD file number. Let's look at the drawing. For our engineering, graphics and design, we have a paper 1 and a paper 2. Paper 2 is the mechanical paper, and for a mechanical paper everything is supposed to be drawn in third angle. So we need to understand the symbol that we would have is the tapered roller, which is our front view always. In third angle, we remember that T is used for third and T is the truth. And in this situation, the truth would be in that the circles, which are always the left view, would then be on the left hand side. So if the circle's on the left hand side, it means the left view is on the left. That is the truth. So that's third angle. You always need to have your center lines for your circle. That would be the symbol for third angle. Now, if that is third angle, we remember our front view is the most important view. So which is our most important view? The common view, this view, because it's common, where the measurements would be projected up to get that edge. The measurements would be projected up to get this edge. This height measurement would be taken across there. So this is our most important view because it's common to both. Meaning this would mean it's the front view. This would mean that it is third angle. The truth, that view is on top, making that the top view. This view is on the left hand side, meaning this would be the left view. Just going to zoom in a bit. If we look at the parts here, we've got hatching here, which mean that this must be a sectional front view. On this side, we've got this component, and that component is a washer. It's a circular component, and here you can see the circle there. It is attached usually before you put on a nut. If you've got a nut, chances are you have a bolt. The bolt aspect is the part that has got the head on it with the shaft and the thread that you can tie or tighten a nut on the end of that. Okay, so just going through that. The bracket, here's the bracket with the hatching. Remember, there's a triangle. We've learnt about that. A triangle meaning that is a fillet. We can see in the hidden detail here that there is where that triangle would be. In our top view, we've got some circles here. So because they've got circles there, here is the line indicating the center of the circle there. Is there anything else? That's the washer, that's the nut. This is the thread part of the bolt sticking out that it's tightened onto there. M stands for metric, the measurement. So metric is the millimeter type of measurement that we use. The other option is imperial, which is when they don't use millimeters, they use inches. AF, when you look at that hexagon, what that means is it's the distance across the flat sides of the hexagon. It's not measuring the point of the hexagon to the other point, it's measuring the distance of the flat sides there. We've got center lines here. This is relating to these two circles. So this is where they're trying to see, do you understand how you would have projected this? Put a 45-degree line in, and we could project to the 45 and down. When you've got the circle here that's broken, this is part of the thread. So to indicate that it's a screw thread, they have this type of drawing, the circle on the outside indicating the outside edge of the thread, then on the inside this broken circle, and that's indicating the thread that you would have on a nut or bolt. So the M also relates to it being a bolt or nut measurement. So those are some things that's important to understand. Let's go along and take a look at the questions. There are the questions, and I would like you to take a little bit of time of just going through that information and seeing which of these you could answer before I go through the answers. Now when we do our answers, we answer in block letter capitals, all our printing. Who prepared the drawing? So in other words, who was the drawing done by? And that was Jasmine. On what date was it approved? So remember, Sam was the one who approved it, and the date there was the 15th of the 7th, 13. Please use the exact numbers that they were given you. Don't write up and change this to July 2013 or something like that. Or what was Pumla responsible for? And Pumla did the checking. Okay, what was the drawing number? Also from that title block. What would view 1 be called? It was just the left view. What would 2 be called? It was the sectional front view. The scale was a 1:1. Okay, work out some of those dimensions. So at A, let's go and find where A is. A is this distance. Once again, they're trying to check to see, do you understand your projection? So if we had a 45-degree line going there, we took that to our 45-degree line and brought it down. We took this to our 45-degree and brought it down. It's giving us this distance here of 10. So A was 10. B was the distance between the two circles, and we came across that as well. They don't give you the measurement here. You won't see the measurement here, so we've got to look into our left view. If I follow that into my left view, I'll see that it was the distance between the two circles, and so B was 50. I haven't put in millimeters because that is our unit of measurement. C is this height from the base to where the center line is. They don't give us the measurements here, so let's look in another view. Yeah, well, there's something to the center of 55, and there is this height here. So it's 12 plus 55, giving us C's distance of 67. D is this edge here. Do they give us any information about that? Not in this view. So then go and look in another view. Which view does it relate to? This view. So if we're looking at this distance here, so first of all they tell us that total distance is 120. Then we've got to subtract all these distances. So 12 plus 24 is 36, 48, 84, and so a distance of 36. Our last measurement they want is measurement E, and they want the size of this. Now because this is the thread of the bolt, we need to go where they told us about the bolt. The bolt they told us was an M20. So for E, it was an M20 thread. The components S, T and U. S, remember this side was the bolt, this side was the nut. So S was the nut. T, we spoke about, was the washer. And U is the shaft of the bolt. So I'm going to just say bolt shaft. But probably bolt was just fine. What are the angles at P and Q? That angle in construction is 30 degrees, and Q would be the chamfer, and that is done at 45 degrees. Name the feature at M. That triangle shape we should know about, and there's no hatching in it, is a rib or web. How many holes do you see there in the assembly? 1, 2, and for the shaft to fit through here, you'd have 3, 4. How many components? Well, the bracket is one component, then we've got the bolt, the washer and the nut. So that would be 4. Insert the cutting plane on AA. So where is it that we would do that? And you would put it through in the put it in here. So remember, darken at the end, center line, extend that center line, darken this at the end. The arrow must go in the opposite direction, so you could put the arrow there, A, or you could put one through the top view as well. So put one through here, arrow goes in the opposite direction, this is third angle, darkened at the end, A. Okay, there I've drawn the symbol already. And that's the end of page 47.